35-year-old merciless Ray Mercer, the former Army sergeant who got a late start to the ring game and then cashed in the 1988 Olympic Games in Seoul, South Korea with a gold medal in the heavyweight division, making his way to the ring to take on the super heavyweight gold medalist from those games, Lennox Lewis. Ray Mercer, 35 years old, and this is a very big fight in what some are claiming is the autumn of his career, but Mercer is hoping that he can spring back into heavyweight contention. Joe Tessitore alongside John Scully. John, what does Mercer have to do tonight against Lennox Lewis for that to be the case?
Well, I think Tommy Morrison showed that you can't stay on the outside and wait. So he's got to make it physical. He's an extremely strong guy. He appears to be very durable and tough, so I think he needs to back Lennox Lewis up and make it a rough dog fight.
A tough task against that 6'5", 247-pound frame of Lennox Lewis. As he is led down, and you see Manny Stewart there, the great trainer and manager from the Kronk Gym in Detroit. 3 straight wins together now as fighter and trainer together, coming off the knockout of Tommy Morrison last October. Manny brings a lot to Lennox, and Lennox is evolving.
Yeah, Lennox is looking good. I mean, the fight with Morrison was, in my opinion, flawless. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. He dictated the fight against a very strong guy. Morrison can punch, and Lennox dictated.
Let's send it to the ring for the official introductions of Lewis and Mercer.
This bout once again is sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission. The 3 judges scoring this contest will be Melvina Lathan, Luis Rivera, and George Colon. And when the bell rings, the referee will be Arthur Mercanti. All your other officials at ringside shall remain the same. And now, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the second time of 3 tonight from New York City's Madison Square Garden. Let's get ready to rumble! 10 rounds of boxing between 2 1988 Olympic gold medal champions. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black, trimmed with gold, and weighing in at 236 pounds. He brings a professional record of 23-3 with 1 draw, 16 KOs. He's the pride of the USA Olympic boxing team in 1988 when he won the heavyweight gold medal. Ladies and gentlemen, representing the USA, former WBO World Heavyweight Champion, Merciless Ray Mercer. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white, trimmed with black, and weighing in at 247 pounds. He captured Olympic gold in 1988 when he represented Great Britain in the super heavyweight division. His professional record now stands at 28 victories with only 1 defeat. 24 of those 28 victories are by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, from East London, England, representing Great Britain, former WBC heavyweight champion of the world,
champ. Good evening, gentlemen. You both received the rules earlier in the dressing room by the New York State Athletic Commission. I expect you to obey these rules. Let's have a nice, clean fight. Touch gloves. Good luck to the both of you. Okay, let's go.
Ray Mercer, Lennox Lewis, 10 rounds. Madison Square Garden crowd, you can tell already, rooting for the USA. The former Army sergeant,
Hey, Jay, you can't be on his shoulders.
the former Olympic gold medalist, going up against the big Brit, who has spray painted his cultural and country alignments throughout his life, be it Jamaica or the Canadian national team, and now introduced out of England. And Mercer, right from the start, showing some aggression, John.
That's what he needs to do. I mean, I think in the Tommy Morrison fight, Morrison showed that you can't lay back with Lennox. And he's actually started doing what I thought Tommy should have tried to do, was be a little bit more physical and work a little bit harder early in the fight to get Lennox worn down.
Bull rushed him moments ago. Lennox goes back to the jab. I think Mercer is trying to put forth the attitude and have the disposition that Morrison lacked.
Right, he's got to use his body, because he can't lay back. You know, very few guys in the world could lay back and just wait for Lennox, you know, because he's too big, too strong, and he's technically sound.
You just look at the physical makeup of the two guys, and you can kind of see the landscape and the strategy that would likely unfold between them. Lennox, 6'5", 247, and he fights big. Mercer, just under 6'2", 236 pounds, and he knows exactly the fight he needs to fight. Of course, we say that, but still keeping in mind that many times the shorter guy can still have success with the jab as long as he uses it as a key to get through that front door and find that prime real estate.
Right. The key is, like, a guy like Lennox has the type of jab where he tries to land it from the outside. He tries to pick you with it. A guy like Mercer should throw the jab even if he doesn't land it. He should battering ram his way in. Forget about trying to land perfect jabs, because if he tried to have a high percentage of jabs, it probably wouldn't work for him.
Comes in well behind the jab. Two right hands upstairs. Went downstairs with a right hand to the body.
See, that's what you want to see from a smaller guy. You want to see the guy work hard on the inside and try to wear Lennox down. You can't win quickly. You've got to plan for a longer fight where you can wear the big man down.
Go to him. Break!
It was a year ago when Ray Mercer also started off well against Evander Holyfield. He would fade in the second half of that fight, go on to lose a unanimous decision. But this is exactly the start that he was looking for against Lennox Lewis. Good burst of aggression to start the round. Came in well, utilized right hands to the body on the inside in the final minute. And time again is taking the fight to the bigger man. So a good start for merciless Ray Mercer here at the end of round one.
A little too excited, okay? Settle down just a little bit. That's all you got to do. Take your time. You can see what he's doing. Jab a little harder with your jab. Your partner a little bit more. But just settle down. That's all you got to do. A little tight. That's all. Everything has to fall in place.
Manny Stewart, the fourth fight with Lennox Lewis, trying to build that confidence after a very good first round from Ray Mercer.
Hold your neck. Okay. Breathe deep. Ray, relax a little more. Breathe deep. Breathe deep. Breathe deep. Breathe deep. Breathe deep. Say a big deep one. That's it. All right, just don't let him set up. Just keep him going.
Yeah, don't let him set up is a good strategy when you're going up against Lennox Lewis. Joe Tessitore alongside John Scully. John Lennox Lewis came in at 247 pounds for this fight against Mercer. Back in September of '94, just a year and a half ago, he was 238 against McCall. When we saw him in his last fight in October against Tommy Morrison, he was 241. Do you like the way he's carrying and feels at 247?
Well, it looked to me in the corner there, he looked a little bit winded. It looked like he was trying to stay calm, but he was also at the same time trying to catch his breath. He didn't want to maybe show how tired he was. You know, that kind of surprised me because he didn't do that. He didn't appear to do that at all against Morrison in the whole fight. But by the same token, Mercer put a lot more pressure on that first round. You know, you start slow, you're a little tight, and your muscles aren't ready for that. And he might not have expected such a fast pace from Mercer.
That right hand from Lewis was blocked, and here comes Ray Mercer back to the inside. And you can see Mercer very much willing to throw that jab. The shorter man, yes, but still a very effective tool. doubles it up there and gets into that inside by doing so. Lennox now very sharp jab, backed it up with a right hand, then a left hand to the body, and a good combination that finished with a right hand that snuck in and scored to the head against Ray Mercer.
Mercer, he's just such a tough guy, though. Like, it just looks like Lennox just landed a pretty good right hand, and it doesn't even seem to phase Ray Mercer. And I think Ray Mercer should use that. You know, when you hit a guy with your best shot, it doesn't appear that it phases him. That makes doubts creep into your mind. And I think that could work well for him. And he's got to keep coming back. He's got to push Lennox back. Like right here, I feel like he should use his strength and maneuver Lennox. A foot to the left, a foot to the right. Let Lennox say to himself, wow, this guy is very strong.
Let him know he's in a fight, like he did with that right hand, and then a left hand scored, and now putting that head right into the chest of Lewis while he swings with lefts and rights.
See,
Good
he's not
right
waiting.
hand for Mercer.
Right. Oh.
Another right hand comes in. Crowd on its feet.
He's got to show no respect. He's got to keep this going. Don't let Lennox regroup. Because that makes Lennox's mind as well as his body work harder than he's used to.
Lennox back to the jab. That walking stick has served him well in the course of the past few years since the loss to McCall. What a strong start to the evening.
Step back.
For Ray Mercer, you can hear the chants of USA, USA here at MSG. USA, and it's been all about Ray. End of 2.
Shape you're in, okay? He's not in shape. He won that round, a couple of good shots, and I give him that round, so I got it dead even. But he's not in the shape that you're in. Keep winning. What you have, you get hit with a jab because you're jabbing, and I told you you're jabbing with your right hand over here, and that's how you're getting caught with jab. Keep your right hand up higher. He's catching you with jab because your right hand is over here while you're jabbing, and you're getting hit. Keep your right hand up a little higher and watch. That's what it's catching with the jab.
Take a look back at some of the action from that second round, John.
I mean, I think the jab, Mercer's jab, is a heavy, strong, jarring type of jab, and I think it carried him. I think he won the first 2 rounds.
I agree with you. Manny Stewart, you heard him saying he thinks that they split the first 2 rounds, but you have to keep in mind that Manny is part psychologist.
Oh, definitely.
And you don't know how much he's just trying to settle down his guy and make sure his guy doesn't get scattered and worried.
Trainers are the biggest liars in the world. Trust me.
You would know. John Scully, light heavyweight contender. Round 3 scheduled for 10. It's been very interesting what's been happening in the career of Lennox Lewis. You know all about him. Shockingly KO'd against Oliver McCall just a year and a half ago. He has been hunting down a super fight with Mike Tyson. In fact, there has been court actions taken to try to make that happen. Now he takes this fight against Ray Mercer. He better worry less about out of the ring in getting a fight with Tyson and worry more about an inspired Ray Mercer here at Madison Square Garden. And John Scully, who would have thought it? A year layoff with Ray Mercer. Prior to that, he had a draw against Marion Wilson, who's a journeyman borderline opponent. And prior to that, he had the circumstances, the rematch, and the disastrous, controversial fight with Jesse Ferguson.
Right. You know, the crazy thing about boxing is so much of it is mental, more than people realize. And believe me, when Ray Mercer walks to the ring against Lennox Lewis, he's feeling more enthusiasm than he did when he walked to the ring for these other guys. You know, he didn't walk to the ring fighting Marion Wilson, maybe fearing for his life, you know? And so he stepped his game up just mentally as well as physically, psychologically. He knows, I mean, what a win. Beating those other guys wasn't, you know, dynamic in the world frame, but this win would be gigantic, so he knows that.
Just to add on to your point as to how much of this game is mental, in the second round, you discussed the steadiness and sturdiness of Ray Mercer, specifically his chin, his ability to take a punch, and what that then means in the psyche of Lennox Lewis. Ray Mercer has only been down once in his career. That was in his last fight last year against Evander Holyfield. As the fight goes on and Lewis realizes that some of the big shots don't quite have the effect, how will that play into the circumstances of this fight?
It could be huge, because the way you think when you're in a fight isn't the way you think in the dressing room or back at home. And, you know, it's literally a thing where you hit a guy with your best shot and he doesn't appear to be affected by it. You know, you begin questioning yourself. And the best of the fighters in the world do that. So, you know, his toughness, Ray's toughness could be a big factor in this fight.
Triple jab from Lewis, then a right hand,
and
Mercer comes right back.
Lennox hit him with a right hand right on the forehead. Nothing happened.
Nothing at all. In fact, all it drew was return fire from Ray Mercer. Good fight at MSG. Former heavyweight titleist.
You're trained for a tough fight, so you're ready for it this time, okay?
And still elite title contender Lennox Lewis. Well, he's 3 rounds into this fight against Ray Mercer, where he is a huge favorite, and Mercer's not going away at all.
I think Ray won the first 3 rounds, and Lennox, you know, he's got to begin soon, if not already, to feel a sense of, you know, I better kick in gear, I better change something here, because, you know, I mean, he's got to win the next couple rounds to get back in it.
Round 4. Joe Tessitore alongside the Iceman, light heavyweight contender John Scully. Good work with the jab from Lewis here early on in round 4. There's a right hand from Mercer, and then sweeps in with the left hand that Lewis was able to duck in away from. Good combination from Lennox Lewis. He started off with a left hook. Mercer back to the jab, let him know, hey, I'm still here.
He's got to get that distance, though. He's allowing Ray to get on the inside, and he's allowing Ray to come back on him. Like Lennox lands, then Ray lands.
Oh, how about that combination? He went right to the body, right uppercut, came back with the left hand, finished it with the right hand. That's the beauty and the experience and the well-roundedness of Lennox Lewis.
See, now he's getting a little confident. He's got to stay with the jab, keep this going, get this round in the bank.
Tried to fire off a devastating right uppercut, missed the target, but what a combination he put together here in the early moments of the 4th round. Best offensive output so far from Lennox Lewis.
Well, now he's getting cornered. He can't let Ray take this back from him. He's on a good roll here.
Mercer going belly to belly, toe to toe right there on the inside. There's the same combination. It starts with that body shot and then turns into the uppercut. And a right hand from Lennox Lewis.
Good shot.
So Lewis off to a good start. Now here comes Mercer with a couple of right hands. Very exciting 4th round.
He's got to pick up that jab, because he already knows, Ray knows that he's got to put a big effort forth. So Lennox has to hold him off with the jab. If he doesn't, he could let that big lead go. So there he goes.
Fired off the uppercut again. It missed again. Mercer fires off 2, 3 uppercuts of his own. Now fires back with a series of left and rights. Ray Mercer just walking forward, taking it right to Lennox Lewis.
He's blowing the rounds.
Uppercut by Lewis. Body shot with the left hand. Mercer comes back.
Give it to me.
There is something about a heavyweight fight at MSG that eventually brings it out of guys. And Ray Mercer and Lennox Lewis brought it right here in this 4th round. Oh my, what a round.
That was the last good round. You look good. That was your best round now. Best round now. Keep going, champ.
Yep. Best round by far that we've seen. One of the best heavyweight rounds of the year. You can see them working on the cut on the lip of Ray Mercer, likely opened by the uppercuts landed by Lewis in that fourth round. 29 power shots by Lewis, 17 landed by Mercer. John Scully, I mean, they went to war in that fourth round.
Well, mentally, if not on the scorecards, Lennox got himself back in that fight. You know, now Ray Mercer's seen something he hasn't seen. He's seen that hunger and desire and probably extra power from Lennox. He's seen that Lennox is willing to stand up to him. Like right there, he's digging in, and when he gets stung, Lennox is coming back. He's not taking it, you know what I mean? He's giving it back, and that's a big round for Lennox.
Tremendous fourth round between Lennox Lewis and Ray Mercer. Now, the cut lip is something that is not new to Ray Mercer. He told everybody, and was very honest with it, that he did suffer a bad cut around that mouth area in training. And he said, you know what? It will open up. Well, guess what? It has.
See, me personally, I don't think a cut like over the eye would be a little different. But I don't think a cut in his mouth, a fighter doesn't care about that.
No, not at all. The only concern there is if they're sucking down a lot of blood, be it in the nose area, the mouth area, and starts cutting your wind. But the way Ray Mercer is fighting tonight and his determination, it's going to take a lot more than that.
This is, to me, is going to be a very pivotal round because they finished up with like a Hagler-Hearns type of thing. So the next round, somebody has to stay with that. They've got to show that they've still got something left in the tank for the next round.
Warning from Arthur Mercanti Jr. after those two left hands on the belt line strayed a little south.
I think it looks like they're both trying to take a little break here, and they're allowing each other to do so.
In the fourth round, probably took a lot out of the gas tank of both guys. You made a great point earlier in talking about the potential conditioning issues with Lennox Lewis coming into this fight at 247 pounds, when in the course of recent history we have seen him in the 230s and then more recently at 241 with Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Let's keep it clean now.
These guys have to realize this is a 10-round fight. That's not a long time. You know, every round counts in a 10-round fight, in every fight. But this one is a close fight, and I know they're both trying to regather themselves, but one of them needs to do a little bit more than the other, and I think Lennox is doing a little bit more right now.
Of course, Lennox Lewis has been on a steady diet of scheduled 12-round fights as he has been a world champion. Ray Mercer, of course, no stranger to 12-round fights as a WBO heavyweight belt holder. But this scheduled for 10 rounds, and at least from our vantage point, we felt that Ray Mercer jumped out to a good lead early on and really took it to Lennox Lewis and fought. Mercer was able to fight his fight up until that fourth round when Lewis's power shots just wowed everyone. There's a right hand from Mercer.
Great, step back.
Somebody needs to step up right now and punctuate the round and steal the round. It's pretty close. Lennox probably has a little edge, but Mercer could grab it from him if he could push it right here.
Nice work with the double jab from Mercer, and he goes back to it. Been very impressed with Mercer's ability to jab tonight. End of 5.
Stay on that jab. You buck his eye up. All right?
Yep.
Give me a towel across his legs.
Ray Mercer, the former Army sergeant who came to boxing late but found success in the form of a gold medal in the '88 Olympic Games. And Lennox Lewis, who was the super heavyweight gold medalist in those same games, now both trying to propel forward in their pro careers. A career for Ray Mercer that has taken a circuitous route, a career for Lennox Lewis, which most people feel is destined for more greatness to come, including a potential super fight with Mike Tyson that he's trying to get a court order mandate for. Right now, he needs to order up a little more offense to deal with the persistent and determined Ray Mercer. Remember, Mercer, a year ago in his last fight, had a similarly strong start against Evander Holyfield before fading down the stretch. Will that same form take hold here at MSG? Jab from Lewis, tried to come with the right hand behind it.
Lennox is definitely feeling better, asserting himself a little more, being a little more, taking the initiative. And I think he won the last two.
Watch the heads, fellas.
So he could even it up right here if he stays with that jab and kind of takes advantage of Mercer slowing down just a little bit.
So, John Scully, on your scorecard, now some close rounds in there, but you would have it 3-2 Ray Mercer after Mercer's good start, and Lewis coming out strong, especially in that fourth round.
Right, I would say 3-2. I think the first three, in my view, definitely Mercer. The fourth, definitely Lennox, and then the fifth, was back and forth, but I would give it to Lennox. So 3-2.
Good combination from Lennox. It was very nice work with the right hand. He tests the uppercut once again. So Lennox Lewis now starting to hit his stride as he comes in with a left hook.
And he just pushed Ray back, which isn't good for Ray. If Lennox can push you back, if he can push a guy like Ray back, like if I was training Ray Mercer, I would say, if you're backing up in this fight, you're losing. No doubt, because you're not a slick boxer. You're not going to outbox Lennox Lewis.
That was something that Tommy Morrison learned the hard way last October. And now Mercer, once again, getting right into that kitchen and firing it up. Lefts and rights, a couple of right hands actually backed up Lennox Lewis.
He just landed several hard shots. That was what he needs to do. And he needs to get right back on him. He needs to will himself to dig down like that. Probably a little bit more than he is.
Come on, let's stop holding. Break.
Referee Arthur Mercanti Jr., the son of one of the all-time greats, Arthur Mercanti. His shining moment, of course, the fight of the century, March 8th, 1971. Ali Frazier, he was the referee in this building.
Watch the heads now.
Looked like there was a clash of heads there as Lennox Lewis drove his head downward. Wild uppercut misses.
See, Lennox is getting a little sloppy with the uppercut. He's better at it when he's inside and he digs down with it.
Time.
Points, Junior. You're behind on points. He's out punching you. That's that simple. When you get a guy get a good volley like that, you got to come back and win that round back. You see, simply because he was exhausted after that, but you never pushed him after that. You got to let yourself go. You can't let your shots go. If you keep letting them go, regardless of whether you're missing or not, you're going to knock him out in that time. This man is tired. He's spitting up blood, but you're not.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I think, see, now here comes Mercer. Now he could have stole around with that. He needs to extend those bursts. He's saving it up probably a little bit too much. And if he has a good burst like that, but Lennox wins the rest of the round in a boring fashion, Lennox could still get it. So he's got to dig down a little bit more, maybe twice a round instead of once a round.
Fighting in spots could be harmful on the judges' scorecards. I want to ask you something that we heard after that sixth round from Emmanuel Stewart in the corner of Lennox Lewis. We talked about the psychology of Stewart early on, telling Lewis he had just won a round. Now he says to him, hey, you're behind on points.
Right, I like that. I mean, in this situation, because he might very well be, and he's obviously got a guy that wants to fight. This guy, Mercer, really wants to fight tonight. So Lennox needs to show some desperation, some desire, to dig down, because it looks like tonight, if he doesn't do that, Mercer's up for it. Sometimes you come into a fight and you're not so up for it. Mercer's up tonight.
No doubt about it. Lennox Lewis probably never thought he'd be hearing Manny Stewart saying you're behind on points with only 4 rounds to go in a fight that, truth be told, Lewis is a huge favorite and simply just needs to get through and do what he's supposed to do in order to stay available to cash in potentially against Mike Tyson.
See, and I noticed at the end of the last round something I didn't see before. They touched instinctively. They touched gloves with each other at the end of the round. So that's a respect for each other that just was automatic. And I don't like to see that. I don't like when guys show too much respect like that. But after a round like that, they couldn't help it. But Mercer's holding a little bit more on the inside. Well, now he's not.
Well, not at all.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, it was a couple of right hands that sparked things for Ray Mercer. But as you talked about, fighting in spots, picking that burst, if he could just be a little more consistent instead of letting opportunities like this exist for Lennox Lewis.
In the first 3 rounds, he could get away with that because Lennox looked tight. He wasn't ready for it, maybe. Now Lennox is warmed up. Lennox realizes the fight is into balance. So Lennox, as a human being, he's going to fight back. You know what I mean? He feels the fight maybe slipping away a little bit.
Uppercut on the inside.
So Ray has got to pick it up.
Now you see the arms of Ray Mercer getting behind the back. And Mercanti Jr., that's where you talk about, John Scully, just letting him go, just be willing to work a little more. Maybe that'll make the difference in a close fight. And with such a golden opportunity, you have to take advantage. But once again, that left arm going around the back of Lennox Lewis.
Right. He's getting a little fatigued, most likely. And the thing is, in rounds like this, a little bit more effort could sway the judges easily.
Big uppercut from Lewis, glancing blow, and once again, Mercer falls in. And now let's see if Lennox Lewis can finish up strong. Looks good. Nice combination. Couple of right hands went to the body, and probably enough to take the round for Lennox.
Break! Step back!
Gotta push yourself. Get off first. Don't wait till he punches. You get off first. You got these next 3 rounds. You got to win all of them to win a decision, okay? You might start it with a
Don't fight this guy. The guy's tired. Okay? Been here for...
Urgency in both quarters for both men.
Okay.
Ray Mercer
The guy's tired.
coming off that 7th round
Ray, fight this guy.
where
Let him go
maybe
3 or 4
we
punches.
saw a few
Feel around
cracks
if he
in
does
the
that.
armor, John Scully.
I felt like at the end of the last round, Mercer, as a reaction, touched gloves in a very dramatic way. And from my experience, I would say that's not a good thing for him, to touch gloves. Like if he was pounding on Lennox, I don't think he would touch gloves after the round.
In other words, in a way, he turned to Lennox Lewis and said, yes, you got me there.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And human beings, not just fighters, but human beings do that instinctively. And that's a crack. That's not good.
Trying to target that right hand now is Lennox Lewis. Round number 8, scheduled for only 10. No belt on the line here tonight at Madison Square Garden. Mercer now finding a little something early on in this 8th round, but still, keep in mind, many rounds were close. Early on, the perception here ringside was that Ray Mercer was in control here, specifically in the first 3 rounds. If he keeps eating uppercuts like that, it won't be the case. Then Lewis got things together in the middle of this fight with a sensational, warlike 4th round and has been in control and showing off the power punches. But this is only the 4th fight going back to May last year of 1995 that he's been with Manny Stewart. The first fight where things haven't gone according to plan perfectly and haven't been laid out so easily. So as we enter the deeper water, still some new hurdles to overcome for Lennox Lewis.
I think fatigue is probably setting in.
On the break there, Mercer fired off a right hand.
Let's go. Come on.
Left hook there for a moment.
Fatigue looks like it's grabbed a hold of both of them at this point. And that's what professional boxing is all about. Who can deal with fatigue better? And, at this point, right at this very moment, I'm not sure who's dealing better.
Making those tough decisions in a fight. The decision to give a little more. The decision to push yourself past the point. Who will be willing to do this?
close round. Lennox should dig down within himself. He's already on his toes. He's got to get that good jab snapping, take advantage of the fact that Ray doesn't seem to have that spark at this moment.
Uppercut on the inside from Lewis. There's a nice right hand from Lennox Lewis here in the final minute of this 8th round. Mercer needs to show something in order to prove that he's worthy of getting a notch from the judges in this 8th round. Hasn't shown much aside from hitting on the break.
You know, it could be a thing where Ray mentally is trying to save up whatever he has left for the last 2. Maybe he wants to have a strong finish.
There will be 6 minutes to go between Lewis and Mercer.
Step back.
End of 8.
Now, he's more tired than you, Ray. Ray, all you got to do,
I'm just saying, right. Do it.
double jab
Thank you,
him.
sir.
Okay. Then the right hand, the big right hand. You had him out, you held him up. Hit him next time.
Make him use his legs while he's tired now, okay? Okay, let your shots go. Don't hesitate so much. Using your legs.
Second jab, gentlemen.
Alongside light heavyweight contender, the Iceman John Scully, I am Joe Tessitore. And John, I want to get your take on what we heard after that 8th round in both corners. In the corner of Ray Mercer, they were saying, he's more tired than you, pointing over to Lennox Lewis. In the corner of Lennox Lewis, they're looking at Mercer saying, make him use his legs. He's more tired than you. Who's telling the truth here?
I think Ray's probably a little more tired, but you know, all corners do that. That's a common ploy, you know, to give your guy that less. You know, it's a mental thing where you want the guy to feel like, if he feels like maybe quitting or easing back, you give him some hope. All they're doing is giving their man some hope that the other guys might be a little bit more tired.
The common thought was that Lennox Lewis wouldn't need hope at this point in the fight. Winning 3 straight, coming off a very impressive knockout win of Tommy Morrison, where he placed many right hands like that one right there that he just placed to Ray Mercer. While Ray Mercer was coming off a 1-year layoff, a loss to Evander Holyfield, a very insipid draw against Marion Wilson back in July of '94, and now here 2 years removed from that, coming up with a very strong effort against Lennox Lewis. The Lennox Lewis we saw against Tommy Morrison looked spectacular. Now that you've seen, as we're into the 9th round here, a full 8.5 rounds of Ray Mercer, was that a case of Morrison not looking great and the fact that Mercer's just looking good tonight?
Right, well, it's a different style. Like, Mercer is doing what Morrison should have done, is make it more of a dog fight. He's forcing Lennox to throw more punches. Against Morrison, Lennox had his way in the sense that he could pick his shots and throw when he wanted to throw. Now he's being forced to throw when he probably doesn't feel like it, and that makes you mentally as well as physically more tired.
Styles make fights, strategies, and the ability to execute them determine fights.
Right. I mean, Ray Mercer's chance is to make Lennox fight him back and catch him in the middle of those punches, because he's not going to stay on the outside. If Lennox decides to jab like he's doing here, then it's going to be 6 jabs to 1 right hand.
Lennox up on his toes for a moment, utilizing that jab, circling, and then Mercer takes it right into his chest again, not firing anything off, though, in doing so. Tries a right hand, that misses. For the most part, this has been a nondescript round, though, compared to some of the other rounds we've seen, John.
I was going to say, it's an up-for-grabs round right here. One guy has got to show that desperation. I mean, this is a fight that could push them towards millions. They have to use that in their head to push them through the last 30 seconds.
Come on, break. Step back. Step
One
back.
of those rounds that could go either way on these close judges' scorecards.
We want this round. We're going to take this round.
You have to win this round to win the fight. You got to win it. You can't win it by moving. You got to let the punches go. You can't take them home. Let them go, Lennox. You're holding on to them. Let them fly. Let the shots go. You got to talk to yourself and push yourself. This is the last round. You've got to win this round, okay?
All right.
So the 10th and final round, moments away for Ray Mercer. What a golden opportunity he has in front of him.
3 and 4 punches.
And for Lennox Lewis, you can see a little puffy around the eyes.
If you don't win this round, you blow it.
And he hears from Manny Stewart that if you don't win this round, you're blowing it.
Can't beat you.
Seconds out. Come on, baby. Let's take this motherfucker.
10th and final round. Arthur Mercanti even gets in on the act saying who wants it. He knows how tight it could be on the scorecards. The crowd here knows it. They've been rooting on their American interest all night long. They want the former Army Sergeant and U.S. gold medalist to upset the Big Brit. John Scully, how did you score it through 9 rounds?
I would say Lennox came back and he's got it up 6-3.
Very interesting because you gave Mercer the first 3 rounds. Now, some of those rounds have been close, but yes, it does look like in the middle rounds, Lewis pressed the gas pedal a little bit and jumped out in front. Still, that 9th round could determine a lot, depending on which way you swayed. You gave it to Lennox.
Right, here's the thing. The first 3 I thought were clearly for Ray, so there's no disputing that. But the next ones I had for Lennox, I happened to have for Lennox. But there was a couple in there that could have went the other way. So in scoring like this, it could easily be an even fight, or Ray might even be ahead in some people's minds.
It has that feel. It's that kind of fight. Lennox missed with the uppercut, had a short right hand on the inside, and now pushing down behind the head of Ray Mercer. This will be a critical 10th round here.
Now, the only thing that's stopping these 2 guys from going for a big knockout is apparently fatigue. You know, because you would think they would both have a sense of I have to knock this guy out because there's a good chance I could lose. Especially Mercer. Mercer should throw caution to the wind. He's got nothing to lose whatsoever by throwing bombs, even if he looks bad doing it.
Break! Step back.
And now it's Mercer giving Lennox Lewis a little of his own medicine on that break as he was pushing down on the back. Lewis now, no jab there. Both men fall in and happy to clinch. Final minute of this fight. Mercer with the jab. Lewis backing up. And once again, they tie up.
Mercer's got to throw bombs. He's got to risk losing badly to win big.
Good double jab there from Ray Mercer. The right hand missed as Lewis was able to get his left paw up and deflect it. Mercer charges in again, but then ties up.
He's got to finish strong. He's got to go for big shots.
Could say the same for Lewis. Yeah. Both men may regret the way these final 3 minutes played out when they look back.
I think Mercer needs to be a little more desperate because Lennox is the bigger name, the guy that was expected to win right from the start.
That's it. They go the distance. Both men raise their hands. The crowd gives a good standing ovation. Most of them supporters for Ray Mercer. They feel it could be a potential upset. John Scully, how did you score that final round?
The final round was kind of a hard round to score. You could look at it different ways. I probably edged it to Lennox, but now that sounds, now I guess I have it 7-3 for Lennox, but a lot of those rounds were close, so I could see it being a much closer fight, but you know, I think Lennox did more.
You have it 7-3 for Lennox Lewis, but you have said, hey, there are a good 2 to 3 rounds in there that were vague, that were close. Specifically, really, rounds 9 and 10 are the 2 rounds that you would point out.
Well, right, 7-3 sounds like a big edge for a guy. It sounds like a landslide almost, but if 2 rounds go the other way, you have a draw.
So you could very easily have had it 5 rounds to 5. Some of the ringside stats that we have for you, the total punches, Lennox Lewis had a 235 to 223 advantage. In terms of the jabs, Mercer out-jabbed him 134 to 106. And who would have thunked that?
Right.
Ray Mercer was effective with the jab just by utilizing it.
Right. He was up. I mean, he was up for the fight. He tried as hard as he could. It was different than his last few fights, you know. And because he was fighting Lennox Lewis, that's the lottery ticket winning tonight.
35-year-old Ray Mercer against a Lennox Lewis who felt like he was very much hitting his stride, hitting his prime. Do we have an upset? Or did Lennox Lewis pull it out? Let's find out right now.
Here we go, Lennox.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the scorecards here at Madison Square Garden, how about a round of applause for these two heavyweights, two Olympic gold medal champions that came here to fight tonight. We go to the scorecards. Melvina Lathan scores the bout 95 even. Luis Rivera scores the bout 96-95. George Colon scores the bout 96-94. For the winner on a split decision, Lennox.
Majority decision win for Lennox Lewis. John Scully, what do you take away from this?
Well, it was that kind of fight, but Ray Mercer better keep his head up and stay in the gym because he'll come out of this better, in a sense, through the eyes of the fans. He'll get a big fight off of this, I bet.
He acquitted himself very well. Lennox Lewis survives and stays on course for a possible another heavyweight title shot. For John Scully, I'm Joe Tessitore. Thank you so much for being with us.